That should be good. My name's Chris Moyer. I live in Grass Valley. I've been here for about 6 years. I moved here in 2001 when I had some difficulties from manic depression. And looking back on it, I know that I feel like Satan was attacking me. I had all of these emotional problems, and I couldn't control the thoughts that I was having. And so I had to come home and live with my family, and I've been here for a few years. At first I wanted to get out. I was sick of being at home and kind of gotten used to it, but it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. But one of the main reasons of why I wanted to start connecting to people out in the YouTube community is I feel that I might be able to offer some help. I've been through hell. I mean, I literally have been through hell, and I'm on the other side now, and it's like black and white. I have so much more peace now in my heart than I used to have, and it's a long story, and I'll probably do bits and pieces of it at times, but just to make a long story short, for a long time I've had delusions or ideas that I was a prophet from God, and that I was sent to the world to prepare the world for the return of Jesus Christ. Now, I've had moments where I believed full-heartedly that was true, and I would go around and I would tell people about it. I would pray for people, praying for healing, although I haven't done that very much. I've gone back and forth in my mind between deism, which, if you've never heard of deism, it's the religion that Benjamin Franklin believed, and it's the religion of Thomas Jefferson and a lot of the American founders, which basically believes that God exists, but he exists in kind of a far-off realm, that he created the universe, and he took his hands off, and he said, I'll let the humans determine their own history. I'm not going to fiddle with their lives. I'm not going to tinker. I'm not going to answer their prayers. And I had that worldview for a long time, and I also had the worldview of Christianity, where I believed that God could hear me, that praying actually made a difference. And right now I've kind of come full circle. I started out as a Christian. I turned away from Christ for some time, but before I turned away from Christ, I completely denied his divinity. I denied that he was the Son of God. And I had this idea in myself that I had such pride, intellectual pride and emotional pride. I thought that I was the Messiah. I thought that I was God. And this led to believing that Jesus was evil. I actually, at one time in my life, believed that Jesus was the worst sinner on the face of the earth. And once I came and I realized that I had been mistaken, God kind of zapped me and said, that's not the truth. You're living in a lie. And I was struck with extreme guilt when that happened. And I attributed that guilt to all kinds of different things. At first I thought, I'm making this guilt on my own. I'm creating it by my own worldview. And so in a sense, I detested Christianity for a while. I went through a period where I really hated Christianity because I felt that all the guilt that I had inside was because of that belief. All the sin that I felt when I was having these evil thoughts. Just to take you back, after I confessed that Jesus was the Son of God, I felt all this guilt because of what I'd done in the past and how I believed that I was the Messiah. And so I began to feel that Satan was attacking me, and I had all of these evil thoughts that I couldn't control. And at one point it got to the point where I decided to kill myself because the pain was so intense, and the fear that I was going to go out and kill someone. I was really on the verge many, many, many times of killing whoever I saw. The hatred was undiscriminating. It was pure evil, and it was coming from within my own heart. And I know what it's like to have an evil thought. I've thought them all. Every single thought, I've thought it all. I had visions of taking chainsaws to my sister. I had visions of, strangling my mother, or ripping people's ears off, or noses off, or biting their flesh. I mean, I was the most despicable person on the face of the earth in my mind. I knew this. I knew that I had these thoughts and I had these feelings, and I knew how easy it would be for me to snap. But this whole time that I was going through this, I continued to pray to God to take these thoughts away from me, to forgive me for these evil thoughts. And I'll tell you what, if I hadn't had my relationship with Christ, my relationship with God, even though I was going through that horrible time, if I didn't believe in God or Christ, I would have acted out on it. And I would be in jail today, or prison, or I would have been executed. Because, I literally felt like I was going to go insane and kill people everywhere. And at that point, I realized that I was the Antichrist. In my heart, I felt like I was the Antichrist, and Satan was doing so many things to my head. But it just took a long time of recovery and just continued prayer to God. But at first, I used deism as an escape. At first, I went into universalism, which basically says that all are saved, and so that kind of brought me some relief. So I felt that there was a chance for me. And then I got into deism a little bit later. And you know what? Through everything I've gone through, there was a time when I was so certain that Christianity was false, that I had brought all those thoughts and feelings on myself because of my narrow worldview, and I thought it's because I followed the stupid Bible. It's because I believed in those stupid stories and believed that I was full of sin. That's why I had all these evil thoughts. That's why I felt evil to the core. It's because I believed these stupid things in the Bible. Well, screw the Bible, I thought. Screw Jesus. I don't have sin. And I denied it in myself. And for a while I felt better. But you know what? After just more and more going back and forth between the two, it's become more and more resolved that I've come full circle again, and I've come back to Jesus, and I have a much wider perspective now than I had before. Satan does affect us. He does influence our thoughts. But we can also give in to him, or we can stand for the truth, and we can fight him. And what I see happening in this world is of great concern to me, because I see, well, before I go into that, I subscribe to an online newspaper called WorldNet Daily, and I believe it's a great source of knowledge to kind of stay on top of what's going on in the world. And something that is really startling me is the trend that we're taking towards lack of free speech, towards attacking anyone that has a dissenting opinion of someone, especially the idea that homosexuality is a sin. People are starting to be punished just for voicing their idea that homosexuality is aberrant behavior, and it's not a wholesome relationship the way God intended man and woman to be. And I'll read this article that I'm reading now, and if you haven't been up to this, it might blow your mind. If you're a homosexual, I'm not attacking you. You have that right in a free country to be homosexual, but I'm talking about in the eyes of God, what God deemed as proper and good, and homosexuality is a sin. And let me just read about some persecution that's happening for people that hold on to their beliefs, that actually have some morals